everyone, this is Alex here from MenuDocs, and in today's episode, we're going to be returning to the MongoDB series. Today is episode 4, and we're going to be going over models and collections. As you can see, these are the things we're going over in today's episode. We have our models, we have our collections, and of course we have our closing remarks at the end of the episode. So let's start by doing just a quick overview of what models and collections are. So when we talk about collections are groups of data inside your database. Each of them hold documents which actually store your data, and each of these documents and collections hold a model. So let's talk about models really fast before we get deep into the episode. So models are going to be what defines the collections system of, or structure of data, and how all of your data is going to be organized inside of each document. So let's start by going over how a collection works. So in your MongoDB database, you see we have a document inside of this collection right here. And what we can do is, if we go back to the database here, you can see we can create a database there. If we go back, we hit add collection. We can either use a capped collection. Capped collections just means that they can't exceed a specific size, and it's shown there. You make it in bytes. We can also use a bunch of things that we don't actually need. Really, you would just want to type a name. So I'm going to go with tutorial just for now. If you create that and give it a second to update, it'll appear right there. Now this is our collection. As you can see, we have no data. You can choose to import data, JSON or CSV file, but I'm just going to hit import document. You write this up in a JSON format, quite simple. So I'm going to put a name, oops, it's not JSON. Here we go, name. I'm going to make it my name, which is just Alex. We're going to put an age, and we're going to put an age of 500. There we go. And we're going to set the admin type, and admins are just booleans, so true or false. We're going to set this to true. Alright, and we're going to hit insert, and there we go. Now our data is in the table. We're going to talk about these object ideas in another episode, but this is collections. Alright, and now let's talk about JavaScript and how we do that. So first things first, doing models in JavaScript is going to be pretty easy. First things first, we're going to want Mongoose. So we're going to do npm install mongoose --save. And we're going to give that a minute to install itself. This is different from the MongoDB initial database, and you'll see how in just a minute here. And we're going to go through everything you need to know about that here in just a minute. So let's wait for this to install. It shouldn't take much longer. It's relatively small. And there we go. Now if you head over to your IDE of choice, if you notice, we're going to clear that because you'll see why in a minute. Now we head over to Visual Code Studio, and as you noticed, I cleared our mongo.js file. So let's get started. We're going to pull up Terminus again. We're going to run npm init because I did clear everything, so I'm just going to do that really fast. There we go. Now we have everything we need. So I'm going to get started by creating a constant of mongoose. We're going to set that to require mongoose. And then we're just going to add a semicolon after that. Then we're going to require a constant of config, or just cfg, equals require mongo.json. Pretty simple here. Pretty simple stuff. And it's pretty much stuff from last episode. So const mongo URI is going to equal cfg.mgURI. There we go. Then we're also going to import schema. Schema equals mongoose.schema. And we're semicolon that. Now let's actually create our model and what the model is going to be. So I'm going to quickly add a comment here. And we're going to define the model type and how it works. So first off, you're going to want to make our connection string, so mongoose.connect, and we're going to set this to the Mongo URI, and we're going to pass a couple of arguments to prevent errors from coming up in the future. So we're going to use the new URL parser. We're going to set that to true, comma, use unified topology, set that to true as well. Then we can just semicolon. And now let's actually do our model type. Add another comment here. You don't have to add these comments. I just like to. Helps me organize things. So there we go. We're going to define our model type here. And we're going to set a const of basic model is equal to new schema, parentheses, open brackets, and hit enter. So now we're actually going to define this. We're going to do name is equal to string, which means name has to be a string. We're going to do age. We're going to set that to number. It has to be a number. And then we're going to set admin to boolean. And that's a true or false. And that just defines exactly what everything has to be. So if you import something in with the model type, those are the types that each thing have to be. And you have to include those items. Now, let's actually set the model type. So we're going to make a constant here. It's going to be const of basics equals mongoose.model. In here we're going to put our quotes. We're going to make basics, comma, and basic model. There we go. Now, let's just jump down here and let's actually add data using this model. So what we do here is we're going to do a new constant. So it's going to be const of, nope, not equals, what? Const new basic equals basic. We're going to open parentheses and brackets again. Open that up. Then we're going to set name. It has to be a string, so we're going to set that to Alex. We're going to add a comma. Let's do age. We're going to set this to, I don't know, some ridiculously long number. You don't need the quotes because it's just a number, not a string. So I thought I'd show that here. But you can make it a string if you choose. We're going to set admin to true. You can make it a string or a number. It's up to you. I'm going to use a string just for the example. So then we're going to do new basics.save. Add parentheses. Open up a function here with error. And then we're going to open our parentheses into the function. If error, we're going to throw the error, and then we're going, if it doesn't throw anything, we're going to do the console.log, console.log, a user created. And there we go. We're going to add a semicolon, and we're going to save that. And now, if we go ahead and pull up both of our terminal, and we're going to pull up the MongoDB database. As you can see, there's no data currently in here. It's currently empty. So we're going to open our terminal. We're going to run node mongo, and there we go. It's going to say user created. And if we reload this collection that we created earlier, there we go. We have our object ID and all of the things we defined in our model. So that's it. That's all the setup-y things for today's episode. If you all enjoyed, please make sure to leave a like and subscribe, as it really helps out the channel. I hope you all have enjoyed all the new things that have come with MenuDocs as of late. So guys, that's it from me. We'll see you all next week. Happy coding.